Let's now head to the court. And failure of investigators to produce evidence in court in the matter of the alleged killing of an 11-year-old for ritual purposes forced a Kaneshie Magistrate Court to adjourn hearing to Monday, August 16.
At the last count in 2020, there were a total of 15,463 inmates across Ghana's 44 prison facilities. Out of this number, 226 young offenders are serving time in Ghana's only senior correctional center located in Accra. The center is mandated to correct, rehabilitate, and reintegrate young offenders. On this assignment, I seek to know the true state of children who come into conflict with the law in Ghana.
Good morning. Please, where's the church, the chapel? Right, the green one? Thank you very much. The blue and white, okay.
Thoughts that I think towards you, serve the Lord. Thoughts of peace and not evil. To give you an expected end.
A message of encouragement to look beyond their current circumstances and hope for better days. But this feeling is short-lived. Not long, the inmate queue to be counted to return to their dormitories. Then the guilt, loneliness, and dejection soon creeps in. A feeling Theophilus knows too well.
On the age of 16, 17, I met my friend, and we used to be friends. He's a lady friend, but actually what happened, he became my girlfriend, and we are just then, something happened, I just have an affair with her, and he became a police case, and they just sent me to Senior Correctional Center. So now they sent me to there. Now I was looking, say maybe my family, they will come and support me, they will come for me, but when I went there, almost getting to 6 months, there was nobody there. So I thought that was my end. And one day I was just there and I thought to myself, should I kill myself? Because there's nobody, there's no, and even the food we take, there's no good. So I was saying, so now this is my end. So when I'm sleeping, all these bad dreams and those stuff, but I doesn't give up on God. One day I just woke up and I prayed to God and I asked God to favor me. So I was just then, one visitor come and it was for one of my uncle, and he came to talk to me. Then we share ideas together, and before I see there is somebody in my life that can support me, now I know they are there, but I don't know them because of the struggle life. I was just passing anywhere, and the case happened, they sent me today. So now I think that was my end. I called one of the officer and share my idea with him and share my problem with him, and he said, okay, I'll help you. You have a shop here. So there's a lot of shop, carpentry and those stuff, and tailoring and those stuff. So I like fashion things, so I like to do the tailoring. And I go, okay, you send me to the shop. And he sent me to the, exactly in just, let me say 3 months. I was just doing something. It's not about me, or I think it's a gift, because I think it's a gift. And when I'm working, officers, they are just happy. They say, hey, you just come now, see how you are working, see how you are doing things, wonderful things. I said, I get more of him to work for. So I was just doing my best, and some also when they come around, they just give me something small. Oh, take this small and take this small. And this one I used to hide it, and they send me there for 2 years. So as they teach me the work, when I'm about to come, the series I have is how is it handled. And when I come home, and I just go straight to the machine shop and do stuff, and I bought the James machine. I said, okay, let me start something home.
In his one-room apartment, Theophilus is picking up the pieces and making clothing for a living. He admits it's tough.
I never give up. I focus, and I pray hard, and I work hard, and I serve. One day I go to my church and I told them, oh, I'm a fashion designer. I used to sew, so if they want to sew, they can test me. So they are becoming one, and I started with the one that sew one shirt for them. I told them 10 cities because I need customers. Now before I'm starting, so I'm trying to do them good so that they can come more. Even the officers, when I left there, they called me to come and take their uniform and sew for them because they trust me, and the way I work for them, they like my work.
The inmates here are serving time for various offences, ranging from armed robbery, defilement, and murder. Some of them share their stories with me.
That was some place I'm called Minigaman. Or the machine be rich lame, machine also in your style. No can say I also for 35 million blood. 35 million no. When I'm for some million, many are 35 million. When I'm here, me say no okay. I'm here the society. You see it, mommy smell the minimum. And I'm doing the shame. I first time. I saw my head no Monica was in one prison. Go try 3 months or no more 18 years. No case near 2. Until I'm still in New York, one prison here. And I'm seeing before months one prison, I'm back to sales. 2018, I'm go court. Your mom with 10 years. Sales I go back to this one prison. And I'm judging the circle say, I'm things I'm ready. Because I'm 3 years, I'm finding if I'm blind, I'm something.
We got to the house. She excused the 2 guys outside, and then as she came up, she was naked. She said she faked some sexual intercourse. I also denied of doing it because never have I done that before, so I didn't want to do it. And then she said, if I don't do it, no one is going to know my whereabouts anymore because I have got to her privacies. So it's either I die in the house or she form a breakdown with the boys and then they do something between. She went to the kitchen and then picked the kitchen knife and started to struggle with me. So during the struggle, I was wounded in my palms. So out of the anger, I took the knife and then I stabbed her.
That's why the country when they say, what will be obey you as you just obey a lot more about how they are 6 feet. You know more what's in my mind. I'm going to be free. So, what be the Chicago, but you're eating so many.
Juvenile delinquency is on the rise in Ghana, and it's headful. The officer in charge of the Senior Correctional Center believes the causes are complex.
Most of the offenses are due to lack of parental care, broken homes, peer pressure, maybe the quest to get quick money, and what is really happening on the social media of late. I think it's a factor to the increase in the crime rate because they watch all kinds of movies, they watch all kinds of adverts, and when they lack the parental care, definitely they will listen to what their friends say. Accompany me to this place. You don't know what is there, but before you realize, you'll be caught by the law and you find yourself in our custody. The boys here, the age range between 12 to 18 for a juvenile. Then we have young offenders who are also below the age of 21, who are first offenders. When you come to the Senior Correctional Center, after the normal admission process, we have a health facility to assess them in terms of their condition, to see how fit they are to be able to serve the sentence that they've given them. Then from there, we have a counseling unit too. They try to counsel them one-on-one to know their needs, to be able to tailor our resources to that direction. During this season, they will be able to detect whether the person will go to the formal school or to be trained in the vocational skills.
The first point of contact when juvenile offenders are brought to the center is a psychologist. She tells me, more often than not, the juveniles arrive very terrified and anxious.
For a typical conversation I had with someone last week, the person said he was just hungry. He didn't have anything, so he stole. But I want to believe from the majority of conversations we've had with some of the boys, you realize that it's the broken homes, broken families, families unable to cater for their children. Maybe parents are dead. They ran away from home. It's mainly because I think families and parents are unable to provide a proper guidance for these boys, and I think they are allowed to be on their own. So as they go around, they find friends who also are probably already in some of these vices, and they introduce them, and I think it continues from there. So it kind of starts somewhere, and then other opportunities are given them, and then it continues. There's no specific age when it comes to murder. We can have some of them as young as 15 and some probably as old as say 17 or 18. When it comes to murder, all the cases that I have interacted with, it's difficult for them to tell you exactly what happened. They all come and blame it on they got angry and they acted out of anger. So some sort of a way to displace their aggression, and then it ended up in they killing the person. You not get the results for everybody, but as much as possible, I feel that it is. I know that it is reformative for a lot of people. Some don't have jobs to do or have any skill whatsoever. They just walk the streets, get something to do. So something as simple as getting him a trade or a skill, getting him occupied with something. He goes back home and he feels he's accomplished something. Especially those who are able to write, say, an examination in BEC or MVTI or something. They go back home and they feel that they've accomplished something and they are better positioned to make something out of their lives.
Established on 19th May 1947 as the Boston Institute of Juveniles, it was renamed in 2007 as the Senior Correctional Center by the Juvenile Justice Act 2003, Act 653. The center is mandated to detain juvenile offenders between the age 13 to 21 years, from a minimum of 3 months to a maximum of 3 years. The center offers vocational training and a second chance at formal education to the offenders.
I was having a personal phone and a personal laptop, so I used it to watch pornography whenever my parents are not around. The time came, I became addicted to it. I developed urge for it, and I couldn't control myself. So I had one girlfriend who has been coming to me. So when she comes, I'll be with her and we'll be moving around. And unfortunately, I slept with her. And when I slept with her, her parents reported the case and they arrested me. When I came to Boston, by the grace of God, they sent me to school, SHS. They realized that I was very fast in mathematics, and some of the science questions that maybe we use logic reasoning to get it. I was very fast there. So when maybe we sit for, let's say, inter-contest, between my mates and I was able to drop them down. So they added me to the National Science and Maths team in my school, and we stood for the competition. At home, I was very, very comfortable. I couldn't lack anything. My parents gave me the maximum guidance, but I was so stubborn. One day, I want to be a medical doctor. At home, when I was at home, I couldn't control my sexual urges. But when I came here, by God's grace, now it's off. My stability of mind has improved.
The value of the training offered to the inmates is evident in what they become when they leave the center.
I've got something out of here. Very big thing. I just choose the work auto electrician. I work on vehicles, how to wire a car, how to program, control units, keys, everything now. That is what I'm doing now. To become a successful man, and to become a hero, you have to pass through some things. It was the only opportunity for me to gain something out of here. That is the whole thing, because I can't waste like 3-4 years here. They should take every opportunity here serious. People are learning. We have a lot of trade here: mason, ceramics, fitting shop, auto electrician, general electricals, carpentry. I don't know whether these things are still here, but I'll plead to them to take any opportunity that they are taking here serious and learn out of it. They shouldn't waste the 3-4 years here.
Ni life no don se asesa. Se a obre ne ho asekra. Se no ni mpani focus a. Se no ye ni ne amamba hu se. Wasesa.
In Ghana, the administration of juvenile justice is governed by the Code of Criminal Procedure 1960, Act 30, and the Juvenile Justice Act 2003, Act 653. It states inter alia that a juvenile has the right to privacy during arrest, the investigation of an offense, at the trial of the offense, or at any other stage of the cause or matter. Also, that in the absence of a birth certificate or a baptismal certificate, a certificate signed by a medical officer as to the age of a person below 18 years of age shall be evidence of the age before a court without proof of signature unless the court directs otherwise. In reality, these laws are not always applied to the letter.
Our law is the envy of several other countries in the world, even including the United States of America, okay? Because the main thing is that when it comes to the sanctions, the punishment for a juvenile, and when we say a juvenile, that's a child under 18 who is in conflict with the law. The sanction regime is very beneficial, very short terms of detention, and they are designed in such a way as to give the juvenile a second opportunity to put their lives together. So what you find is that our law respects the principle that institutionalization, as you say, putting a juvenile in incarceration, should be a measure of last resort. At least 70% is good. That is to say, we do apply it well. In about 14 years in the juvenile court, the determination of age is not usually a major issue. That is to say that the frequency of occurrence of that issue is not that much. It's quite low.
Well, we as a country, we have a very comprehensive juvenile justice system in terms of age procedure and what is expected of us to do in the process. So it's very consistent and it's very beautiful in terms of its structure and all. So you expect that these things will work mechanically. But for me, it is having a dent on this kind of comprehensive structure has to do with how the state is rolling out the juvenile justice system. So for instance, right at the entry point, a child who is above the age of 12 years is criminally responsible for any act. And when that happens, the law provides that a child below the age of 18 years and above 12 years, when you commit offense, you cannot be put into adult prison. So clearly there's expert statement made by the law as to what the system should demand when a child commits offense. But here's the case: you see a number of children ending up in adult prison for offenses that they've committed as children.
Yeah, we 2001 first April, and we more training. So we need the year no more semebua. Into we more busa school and ameko. We come Methodist and we more investigation school. We more nya BBM from insurance card. I remember amo. Remember amo so yale da doctor. Into one nka insurance card ni BBM obeti with their mom. One we need say na esi. We need say na esi na edimi abipia.
A recent report by Crime Check Foundation revealed even more worrying infractions of the administration of juvenile justice in Ghana. Ibrahim Opon Kwateng is executive director of Crime Check Foundation and host of a TV show, Time with a Prisoner.
I usually encounter juveniles in adult prisons, and I'm sure you are aware of the law. The law is clear. Juveniles are not supposed to be kept in adult prisons. They are supposed to be kept at the Senior Correctional Center. And the framers of the law, in their wisdom, know why juveniles should not be kept in adult prisons, because they should not be exposed to hardened criminals. Again, if you look at the prison's architecture, it was built for the strong, with no recourse to juveniles who may not have the psychological capacity to be in such prisons. Our prisons are terrible. The congested nature of our prisons. We know that there is no proper classification of prisons. So mixing juveniles with adult prisoners, some of whom may have committed heinous offenses, what would we be teaching them? So I encounter some of them periodically. And in the case of Adam Frimpong, he tells us that when we met him, he told us that he was 15, but he claims the policeman inflated his age. It is not only Adam. We've come across many juveniles.
Chief Superintendent Courage Atem speaks for the Ghana Prison Service. He tells me the service is aware of these infractions and has taken steps to rectify some of it. He is confident that the service is doing their very best to transform the juveniles in their custody.
There have been instances where officers, from the look of things, detected that no, this guy is a juvenile, is below 18, and but probably the documentation that brought him shows that he's 18 and above. And so when it happens like that, we have to go back to the place together with the CID, together with the Department of Social Welfare, to rectify issues if there are any anomalies. And there have been instances where it was actually legally, determined that yes, this is a minor and therefore shouldn't be in adult prison, and therefore they would have to go back to court for the right thing to be done. I wouldn't say very well equipped as compared to international standards. But I would say that we have some facilities or structures put in place to ensure that we are able to at least offer our reformative rehabilitative programs. That is how come we have classrooms and we have workshops that the inmates are trained in. And so, yes, we are making do what we have.
The family and society are major stakeholders in the reformative process of young offenders. Sadly, sometimes they become the bane of the reintegration process.
Children are our future. So, in their own small way, whatever that they can do, they should come and help the center. If anybody is touched to donate even a school bus for us, we'll be very glad. The ICT center too is there, the infirmary is there. Even if you want to adapt a dormitory, we'll give you that chance to adapt. Then you take care of the boys that are in there, their needs, bed, mattresses, and other amenities that are being stretched. So this is my humble appeal.
Is the mandate of the service or government to take care of their health care. So ideally we are supposed to provide everything for them. But as it stands now, we rely heavily on donations and philanthropists to offer these services. So treat medications, we have a lot of medications, prescriptions outstanding to be bought for the boys. So that even goes even to even make our cases even get worse, because the person has a condition and hasn't gotten the treatment he or she needs.
What is expected of the media when it comes to reporting matters of children is protecting the dignity and the privacy of children. These are the two things that the media wants to do. You are protecting the privacy and then the dignity of the child. Because whatever you put out on social media would have a repercussion on the child, even after 20 or 30 years. So it is your business to protect the dignity and the privacy of children. So there is a way and manner that you need to carry out your report so that the image of the child will be protected.
There is no doubt that the administration of juvenile justice in Ghana goes beyond what happens in the courtroom. There must be a deliberate effort to balance the welfare of young offenders so that they can contribute socially and economically to nation building.